This is the O-Review podcast. O-Review.
Hello. Today we're going to talk about a line of glasses rather than a specific one. Over the years, Oakley has celebrated anniversaries with special releases. These have ranged from logo revivals to entire unique models. I wasn't collecting in 2000, so I missed the 25th anniversary, but for the 30th year in 2005, there were many new additions. Primarily, the classic thermonuclear logo made a return, giving us apparel items such as the history tee and the puffy snow pants. Neon also made a return, giving us a brief hope that those vibrant hues would revive the early 90s, but that soon faded away once the celebrations passed. The main offering of 2005 was the Stretchline collection. It was offered exclusively to ski and surf shops, releasing entirely new models and a variant of the Stretch logo on the ear stems. We'll take a deeper look into those later.
I said later!
That said, in 2010, for the 35th anniversary, the offerings were not as grand of a scale. There was a very limited run of the 2010 edition grips, which were based off the B1Bs and were labeled as such, but with a few small alterations. Aside from that, we did get a special line of modifications to certain cutting-edge glasses, merged with reimaginings of iconic models from Oakley's long history. To bring these designs to life, Oakley worked with New York-based Jeff Staple of Staple Design to provide color and print alterations to the new line. Jeff Staple, commonly abbreviated STPL, was majoring in journalism at NYU, but dropped out when he found a passion for design as an intern and instead enrolled at a school of design. Much like Jim Jannard's early endeavors, Jeff initially started off creating handmade items, which were noticed and picked up by local shops. This slowly evolved into a full business while collaborating with many high-profile brands. A total of 6 models were the result of this collaboration, and 2 were initially released on July 13, 2010. The Staple kickoff event was held at Staple's own Reed Space, located in New York City. The first 2 models were available at that time, with the rest on display. 2 more were released the 1st of August, and another 2 in the 1st of September. The poster for the kickoff event proudly announced that 1975 was a fine year. It displayed a grip that was never produced, and the eye shade, which didn't come out until almost a decade later, but what can you do? There was another nice logo which foreshadowed the retro re-releases to come, as well as the sport-specific designs that would provide inspiration for the line. However, this was primarily used for the Rolling O and not for the Staple event. While initially the models were available off the Staple site, many made their way to OPD's and the Oakley website. Recent glasses such as the Holbrook, Collector's Frogskin, and Jawbone were initial entries. They opted for light-based lenses, the Staple logo on the inside of the ear stem or on the lens, and each was based on a different sport. The boxes containing these models returned to the late 80s and early 90s look, and used a clear plastic design with a riser to display the item while it was still packaged. The Frogskins came in a dove gray frame, pink iridium lens, and a pink classic logo. They were based off Staple's iconic dove imagery, complete with a pigeon dropping splat, nestled neatly near the logo. This is the only pair not to be inspired by a sport, since they were primarily a lifestyle pair. The Jawbone came in matte white with gray lenses, and striping on the lower orbital and the icon area. The design was based on cycling due to the Jawbone's association with Lance Armstrong's use of it during the Tour de France. The Holbrook was the least flashy, with polished white, chrome iridium lenses, and red bolts near the hinges. A slight halftone pattern faded into clear towards the tip of the ear stems, while combining with the Staple logo, a cue based on snowboarding and fresh powder, inspired primarily by Shaun White's hand in designing this frame initially. The Jawbone and Holbrook had a wider release and were priced at $225 and $150 respectively. Now, simple exclusive colorways are nice, but standard fare these days. Fortunately, the remaining models in the Staple line were much more exciting. The final 3 offerings brought back 2 vintage designs, as well as more noticeable sport equipment frame decorations. The first retro design was the blade. The razor blade had previously returned briefly with the Stretchline release, but that was retooled to meet modern design standards and mass production. The collector's blade was more or less a remolding of the original. For a paint job, the splatter effect was chosen, reminiscent of the Rosa editions that came out almost 2 decades prior, and in true fashion, they were all hand-painted by California artists for a unique splatter effect for every pair. The sport of choice for this model was surfing, with the white-on-blue splatter effect replicating the spray of ocean water. This frame was combined with an ice iridium lens and was available for $200 with a production run of 150 units. Continuing with the sport-inspired frame options, the radar was outfitted with a golf ball pattern print. This came with green ear socks, 2 green nose pads, and a green icon. It was paired with a high-intensity yellow lens, which nowadays is just referred to as yellow, in the path lens shape. The radar was a wider release than the rest and retailed for $200. The final staple design was the most exciting. It combined a unique frame creation and a retro design that many thought would never return. The eye shade was recast and returned with a fuzzy tennis ball orbital. The original stems were kept intact, but the foam brow pads were omitted. The lens accompanying the eye shade was also rather unique. The primary lens was emerald, and in addition to the staple logo in the corner, a giant X takes up most of the eyesight area, representing tennis court lines. For usability purposes, a bronze lens was also included in its own box. However, the makeup of the frame material would make daily use almost impossible due to the loose fibers in the tennis motif. So while not as grand or as ambitious as the stretch line releases, the staple line gives us a few excellent collector's pieces, as well as a few that would make good lifestyle pairs.